Hey guys, this is question and answer week here at Witches of the Moon. It is Wednesday and I am Blithe. I also go by Blithe's Spirit here on YouTube. That's where you can find my personal channel, and on Facebook as well. So I have some questions from viewers, and then I have the questions that we asked each other, which was actually a lot of fun doing that and seeing the questions that other people asked as well. So first question I have is, how did you or do you feel about hiding your path? What advice do you have for someone trying to come out of the closet, out of the broom closet, I'm assuming? In the beginning I hid it because I didn't think a lot of people would understand. My father's side mostly comes from a Catholic background, and my mother's mother is religious. Everybody's kind of Christian based, even if they don't go to church or, practice what they preach. So I did hide it for a while. As I was talking to people about it, one of my friends I had since 3rd grade and one of my cousins that I'm close with, they kind of, I don't want to say that they knew, but it really wasn't a surprise to them because of the types of things that I was into when I was younger. Astrology, tarot, and dream interpretation and the like, so it wasn't really a big stretch for them. So an advice for somebody coming out of the broom closet is basically to not give a crap. When you stop giving a crap is when you're going to stop worrying about what other people think, and that will really help you to be more confident and in your ability to speak about what it is that you do. I pick and choose who I talk about things with. I do that anyway, even with certain types of or groups of witches. I pick and choose what I actually share, and I do that with members of my family and people that I know as well. Depends on the situation. Do y'all plan to share recipes from your personal spell book? And would you be willing to show us a ritual? We are actually going to be sharing spells next week. Each one of us will be posting a video on a spell, which I'm very excited about. And my rituals, I don't do them often enough, and the ones that I do at home, I'm not clothed for, so no, I am not going to be showing you one of my rituals. I did post a ritual I did with my kids on Imbolc and on my personal channel, and I will be posting the one that we do this coming weekend for Ostara, also on my personal channel. It is my goal to do every Sabbat with them for a whole year, and probably post it on YouTube depending on how it went. So how old were you when you began your path, and what drew you to it, and how did you find it? Well, I have to say that it really started with the astrology when I was about 14, 15 years old, because it led me to design the tattoo that I now have on my back. That is a sun and a moon and 3 stars, and that had somebody questioned, I'm not speaking English today, somebody asked me if that tattoo had anything to do with Wicca. This was in public. This was in a shopette on post, and it was a little weird. So I told him no, because I really didn't know what Wicca was to begin with. I did know it had something to do with witchcraft, so I decided if people are going to think that I'm Wiccan, I want to know what Wiccan is. So I did some research, and it actually made a lot of sense to me, and I understood it, and that's how I felt called to it. At the time, my husband at the time did not feel comfortable, and for some reason I was just like, you know what, okay, it's too much work anyway. This altar stuff is too much work. I'm not going to worry about it. Years and years and years and years later, we are no longer together for several reasons, and me not being able to be myself was one of them. And I was having kind of a I was having a breakdown period, so I kind of had a spiritual epiphany, and I kind of kidded myself, lied to myself, and I bought a book that was about all different religions, and the first one I went to was back to Wicca to research it. So I was drawn right back into it as soon as I was ready for it, to put it that way. And it's kind of evolved since then. I do not consider myself to be Wiccan, and I have done research on many other paths. When I was younger, actually the occult and witchcraft kind of scared me, and as I started learning about different things, I did my own exploring into the darker paths, and I want to learn as much as possible, so I am not afraid. So that has helped me tremendously as well, just gain knowledge. That is why I consider myself to be eclectic, because I do take bits and pieces from different parts and I use it and make it my own. So what advice would you give to someone in a spiritual slump? The advice that I would give to you is to not let yourself get really, really deep into it. Once I get deep into a slump, it's really hard for me to pull myself out of it. So that is the first thing, is I would try, if you can, try not to let yourself get too deep into it. Things that helped me is definitely cleansing. Cleansing yourself, cleansing your space, and if you feel the need to do some protection work, I like to, when I'm really down, I will go to the, or even when I'm okay, but I will go to the local rituals that we have, the public ones, and it really helps me to be around other spiritual people and to be able to talk out loud about certain things. It is different for me to be able to talk out loud than it is to talk to somebody online. I do feel comfortable. I have a lot of people I talk to online. There's just something different about speaking the words out loud, which really helps me to connect more on a spiritual level, so that does pull me out of those slumps. There was another one. Here we go. Where do you see yourself in a couple of years from now spiritually? As in, do you feel you'll be on the same path or ever evolving? I think I'll be ever evolving. I don't have a specific path that I follow right now. I may find one, I may not. My need to learn will probably keep me eclectic, but I do plan on doing a priestess program. I haven't really looked too hard just yet, but it came up within my soul profiling that Laura Rain did for me, and I kind of confirmed it all with a tarot reading that a very good friend of mine did for me. So it is something that's on my 5-year plan right now, is to start the priestess program, because it will be a 3-year thing. In what path or whatnot, I don't know yet. I haven't looked into it extensively quite yet, but it is definitely something that I will be doing. So this is actually a legit question. I just wanted to say that. Is there any benefit to sticking the candle directly into your vagina while you're on your period? Have you tried it, and would you? And this is pertaining to candle magic. People do use menstrual fluids and sexual fluids for magic. There is no benefit to sticking the candle directly into the vessel. If you want to use your menstrual blood or your sexual fluids, you would collect it in some other way. I've actually never heard of anybody anointing the candles with menstrual blood. Menstrual blood is usually used for binding or some kind of domination, which is usually put into food. It's kind of hidden. And sexual fluids can be used to anoint pictures and candles and such. What I know, it's not sanitary, there's no reason for it, and no, I have not. I can honestly answer that question. Okay, so the next group of questions is from my fellow Witches of the Moon. So Lisa asked me, what is my favorite witchy book and why? And I have an issue with reading non-fiction books, and I actually learn a lot more from talking through people and doing research on the internet. So I can't say I have like a really favorite witchy book, but I really do like my reference books. So I like the Hoodoo, Herb, and Root Magic reference book. This is a great reference for herbs, and my crystal Bibles. If you watch my Crystal of the Week, you'll see them. Jay asked me what my favorite time of the year was. Fall. mostly because of the leaves changing and everything in the cooler weather. And Samhain. Bay Moon asked me, did the changes of the season affect your practice? For example, the way you cast or spend your time with Dee Dee. Yes and no. I do feel more connected during the warmer months because I can be outside. But if I need to cast, I cast. And if I need to talk to Dee Dee, I talk to Dee Dee. I keep up with my offerings throughout the winter and everything else. The winter is usually more for the inner work. And I think that's why we have the winter, because a lot of people do the inner work. That's kind of what it's for. Dragon Wind asked me, do most of the people in your life accept your path? The people that know do, and the people that don't know do know. They're just in denial. People that I told were not really surprised. A little bit, but not really, because I've always been into astrology and tarot and such, so it really wasn't too much of a shock to anybody. And some of my family members, I think that they know, but they don't want to know, which is fine. Everybody can go live in their own happy little bubble. I just won't talk to them about certain things. So Amethyst Moon asked me, how old were you when you got your very first tarot deck? Was it a gift or a purchase? What was it, and do you still work with them? My very first tarot deck was the Rider-Waite tarot that I bought when I was 18, and it's probably still sealed in a box in my father's attic because I didn't make the move when I first moved out. I actually brought the wrong box with me. Probably about 2 years later, I bought this dragon deck. The reason why I bought this deck is because it was on sale and it was there, and I'd always wanted to learn tarot. So this deck is probably about 10 years old, and it is in awesome condition because I've barely used it. I've since found tarot decks that I connect with more, but actually I have allowed my 4-year-old to play with this deck, and some of the things that he's noticed and talked about in the pictures have really made me want to go back and revisit this deck. Plus, I'm more knowledgeable about tarot in general now, so I think it'll be easier for me to use this deck. So Poe asked me, do you give yourself readings? And if yes, any tips for doing self-readings? And if no, why not? I have. I don't do them often enough. And the reason is because I don't trust that I'm going to get the message that I need, that I'm going to interpret it the way that I want it to be. So for the really big stuff, I will go to people that I trust and I will pay them to do readings for me. And it's really, they see things that I will not, because they're not me. I think that once I am able to really separate myself with my readings, I should get better at reading myself. I'm good at reading other people, but reading myself, not so much. So I would recommend doing the smaller stuff first, and then maybe going for the bigger stuff and seeing how you do with those. So Amy asked, what is the hardest part of being a witch or a pagan? And I think the hardest part is not feeling like I can be as open or honest with my kids as I want to be, because they are still young and they talk, especially my daughter, and I don't want them to go through any crap because mom's a witch. And actually it took a while, but I think she finally believes me. My daughter's 8. I think she finally believes me. Actually, recently, the other day, she asked me if I could teach her how to be a witch. So I'm going to try to start with meditation. She already has a deck of oracle cards, and I'm trying to start slowly with some things. So Natalie, so part of the craft you struggle with the most? Meditation. And I think that's one of the reasons why I picked that to start my daughter off with. So maybe if we all do it together, I will get better at it. It's not that I can't do it. I can do it. I have a tendency of falling asleep while doing it, and I blame that on my off-shift job. And I feel really disoriented when I wake up after I meditate and fall asleep. And I don't think I trust myself like I need to. Same with the tarot cards. I need to learn how to trust myself more, which means I need to do it more. Okay, so from Trina, tell us more about how your new relationship incorporates your beliefs and what are his opinions on you being a witch. On a lighter note, how serious is this new relationship? This relationship is serious enough where we've actually discussed how many bedrooms we're gonna need and bathrooms and like stuff like that. Yeah, I'm kind of taking it all with a grain of salt because I've put stock into things with other people and it didn't pan out. I don't think this is the case. I really do think this is going to work out, but I'm still kind of have that protective layer. About how my new relationship incorporates my beliefs and his opinions. He actually knew that I was a witch before I ever started speaking to him as friends. Because we met through a mutual friend and she had told him. So it was something that he always knew. He is comfortable with it. It is something that I can talk to him about with at length. He has friends that are pagan, but he says they're not as pagan as I am. I think probably, I don't know if I practice more or I just talk about it more because I am comfortable talking about it with him. He encourages me to do what I want to do if it makes me happy, basically. Doing the rituals and reading cards and different things. And if I'm starting to get stressed out or burnt, he really encourages me to take a break, even if I want to push myself harder. So he is very supportive with that. And it's vice versa as well. He doesn't completely understand it, but he is as supportive as he could possibly be. It's long distance right now, so given when we're actually together, continuing to encourage and different things, we'll see how that works. I don't see that as being a problem, actually. I know a lot of people will get jealous and don't want, people to do things or whatever, and neither of us are like that. So I'm hoping that continues to be a mutual respect. Him and I actually don't have a lot of things in common, but we do understand each other even if we don't understand each other. So if that makes any sense at all. Desert Siren, tell us something odd or weird about you that very few people know about. When I go out to eat in a restaurant, my utensils cannot touch the bare table. That is an issue that I have, and I've noticed trying to catch my kids' utensils. If it touches the table, I will not use it, and that's it. I'll find a way around it. Lady Grave Dancer asked me, have you incorporated items from your children in your magical workings? And I'd asked her to clarify a little bit, but the example that she gave me was either using their personal concerns for magic or things that they have given me. So I have used their personal concerns for magic. I have used it for protection and healing and stuff like that. Things that they have given me, when I first started out, there was a small rock that my son gave me that I use as my earth representation when I do my circles in the house. And other than that, they really don't give me stuff like that. She had mentioned that her son gives her flowers. I mean, my kids help me pick out the flowers. I really do need to start doing something with them. But they don't really hand me stuff like that. I think if they did, though, if they gave me something that I felt I wanted to do a working with, or I would definitely do it. So last but not least, from Nimbus River, you describe yourself as a rock girl, but have more recently begun working with herbs. So far, what is your favorite herb to work with? I do like rosemary. Rosemary was always my go-to for protection, and just recently I've been exploring how to use it for peace and in a happy home type of environment. I also like deer's tongue. Deer's tongue is not a lot of people know about it, but it's great for communication, and I have used it with my court stuff. I have used it with my honey jar that you'll see next week, and I plan on using it in the future for job interviews and anything that requires any kind of communication. So I really do enjoy working with that as well. I'm still kind of getting to know them. I like peppermint tea. If I'm having some belly issues, that is something that I found that really works for me. And there's free peppermint tea at work, which is awesome. So I've definitely been using that as well if it's needed. And that's it. So if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the description and in the comments rather, and I will reply to them in the comment section. I don't think I'm going to be doing another video unless there's like a ton of questions, and I will do that on my personal channel. So on that note, have a good one and have a blessed day.